Hey, sweethearts. Today we're talking about structure. Seems stressful, but it's not, I promise you. So stick with me. So recently I came across the work of brilliant Robert Fritz. And he talks about the theory of structural dynamics. And in summary, when it comes to really creating what you want in your life, a dream that you really want, it's really irrelevant when it comes to motivation. And so think of structure as a riverbed that carries the flow and energy of water strongly through it. So if you really want to flow and you want to have energy in your life and you want to move in a certain direction or behave in a certain way or have new habits, we really have to focus on the riverbed. So we need to dig it up. We need to move it. We need to rebuild it. And don't give it water until it actually has the option to have that strong structure built in, your dreams. So the riverbed enables the flow to gain its pure momentum. So it really seems simple, right? Seems logical. Of course it does, until you try it. So what I want you to do is just think about unpacking every single aspect of your life that is overwhelmingly awesome as you want it to be, and then structure every single aspect of your life around the eventual fulfillment and the overwhelming awesomeness of having that goal. It feels really intense, but it's possible. And yes, the theory of structural dynamics initially seems simple to us is because it strikes a chord with our universal truth. In our core, we know it's right. We know we need structure in our life. And structure absolutely matters, especially when we want to create a very strong flow in our life. And so his leading question is this: does your life structure work to your advantage, or does it somehow work against all of your efforts? Try it. Ask yourself, does the target and the end desire matter enough for your structure to be built around it? As one examines structures to determine whether or not they're built to achieve the ideal reality, Robert really inserts the addition and the consideration of either it's advancing or it's oscillating. So also, structure is natural. It's part of nature, and it can make us or break us. And so the advancing structure is one that success has to happen out of a platform that has a strong universal flow that always builds momentum over time. And the sum total of your life experiences leads you forward. So wherever in an oscillating structure we may be, we can absolutely neutralize it and move it into a strong momentum. And each step forward and each step backward then creates this long-term struggle until we step into that new structure, the end goal, the end vision. So he absolutely passionately believes that structural dynamics is the part of us that helps us to live in our most optimal, highest self. And he pleads that to align the river, we have to get that riverbed overwhelmingly in our head as our ultimate end goal. See it, believe it, feel it, everything. And as in his words, you cannot dedicate your life's energy to compromise. Makes sense, right? So what do you do now? We need to master the mechanics of creating a life that we want, and that involves creating purposeful tension. More about that in my next video. But when we can create the tension, the riverbed, whatever that visual is for you, we base it on what is our one big key target. You could call it a goal. I like target, or true identity, or I've heard it term used true choice. Whatever that is for you, it's the embodiment of what you long for. It's the embodiment of what your soul's calling is on your life that you've always known, but you've never had the wherewithal to walk out of fear and into your new identity through keeping that strong structure. So I've created a new program. I'm coaching it with women right now. It's a group coaching program where we really intertwine hypnotherapy, being able to get into a neuro meditation that gives us into that sweet spot in trance that allows us then to enter into our land of plenty, which I call opening the garden gate into your garden of plenty, and really feeling that, living in that. Because emotions, the energy in the emotions, we have all of these 5 layers of the energetic body that, starting out in the huge cosmos, the field, right? It's a huge field. Think of it as an ocean. Every drop matters, and it's moving to create its synchronicity. Then gets more and more and more dense into the vital body, which then the vital body and all the energetics in the vital body then make up an organ, and that organ then creates an energy that then filters into communication with the body, in which it then creates proteins, and hello, Joe Dispenza, creates your true identity, your health, everything. So the way you think, your environment that you're in, everything is energy. And so when you step outside of time and you step into the essence of what your desired riverbed is, and you can change it anytime you want, it can be whatever you want, simply because you want it, simply because you love it, doesn't matter, make it up. That's the pureness that you step into when you step into innocence and really start to visualize it, that allows you to let go, right? Let go of the resistance. And we start to move those boulders out of your river bed, and so that it can create more flow in your life. Now, we're always looking for instant gratification. If we don't have some magic sign, if we don't have some kind of perfect, vision board, if we're creating out of that place, a vision board, let's take that for example. The vision board is you in your current identity wanting something versus you standing in your current identity, knowing that you're on your way by taking aligned action because you're very clear. So the frequency is so that you can feel yourself pulling and oscillating back or out of that frequency that you wish to always be aligned with to get to your true target, goal, aspiration, true identity, self, whatever that is for you. And so I really love structural dynamics because it's a very, very logical way of thinking, which I'm very logical, but it is the curation and the creation of all of nature and the essence of who we are as creators. And if we really want to have a strong structure, think of Noah's Ark, right? They couldn't have all gotten, in Noah's Ark if it didn't have a strong structure to really get them through in the great flood. It had an incredible structure to carry life over into this next phase of that life and period of time. So that structure is carrying you into your new desired life that you want, but you have to create the structure, which is the true goal, the true vision. Then the women that are in my group, we create the neuro meditation and we start to feel the way there. And then we step it back and we don't go back into oscillation, but we create the next step so that we can start feeling it, start stepping into it, knowing that we're in the process of removing the boulders and getting into consistency with creating the flow. That's manifestation. You actually become the vortex versus spending all this time trying to work harder. And we work smarter by just creating it and being it. And it's not as simple as just be, do, have. We can be ourselves to death by shooting all over doing, like I said, vision boards, because we're creating from a false identity. We're aspiring to want to grab something versus owning it, feeling it, staying in it, and then creating a community in which we are with the Life in Bloom program, that we can all come together and share what we are creating, and then have time to get into the structure, and then have time to plan it out in our lives, and then share what we come up with and desire. And women are coming back and they're having these incredible dreams and they're starting to turn things back on. And, for me, it's like I've been in the creative industry for years, but I never just enjoyed it. I create because I love it. And that's cool. So anyways, I wanted to share structural dynamics, how to create the starting concepts of a riverbed, and how oscillating is what keeps us stuck, and how this is why we keep on going back to the personal development industry. This is why we keep bright and shiny objects of the next course or member program or thing to go through, especially with everybody with COVID and online. This is why we go back and we buy thousands of beauty products, because it's something cool, something new, instead of just really getting identified with what do I want in my health, my beauty, my mindset, my mood, my family, my relationships, how much I want to make for an income, and then how do I keep that structure right here and then in the field. And that all comes down to the superconscious, but that's another story, that's another day. This was all about Robert Fritz and just the beautiful visual, the beautiful concepts. And I'm going to have him on my podcast this weekend to really share where we go wrong on doing all the things and trying to be one identity, trying to hop in one riverbed that's moving really fast into another, but it's completely not possible because you haven't created the structure. So there you have it. If you have any ahas, please leave them for me. Love you all, love and light. I hope you enjoyed this short, I won't call it a rant, informational session on structural dynamics and Robert Fritz's great work. And I'm going to have to leave you with, please make sure that you subscribe to the Awaken Beauty podcast if you haven't, where we talk about these kind of things and where we'll have Robert on the show. As well as if you want to learn more, just leave me a comment. I'd be happy to help you reach into this community that I'm creating and this beautiful dreaming that we're doing. We're dream catchers, and how you actually start to push through things when you're actually in the right structure, and why all of the self-development industry has really kind of left us in the dust because we're always trying to fix ourselves. That's a wrong identity and structure. So all my love, all my light, let me know if you need anything. You have any questions, drop it in the comments below and I will reach out to you and you can join our Life in Bloom program and membership. All right, Divine, see you later.